system.
Hey, you wanna hear a good joke? Nobody speak, nobody get choked.
It's still real to me, damn it!
Out of here, baby! Nobody speak. Nobody speak. Nobody speak. Nobody get choked. I knew you'd come.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new episode of the Sunday Night Slam here on TBK Radio and TBKMagazine.com. My name's Richard, and joining me, yeah, that's right, I got a co-host today. Joining me today, she's back from her wonderful time and from anesthesia sleep.
Yeah.
It is my life, and it is my partner in life and on the show. It is Ashley.
Hey.
How are you?
It's good to be back. Much more alive than I was.
Phil's still playing with his dingle. In fact, Phil's had the flu, and in Arkansas, the flu kills.
Truth.
I don't know if I hope Phil's doing better. Eventually, Phil will return to the show. I'm hoping by WrestleMania now at this point.
He's got a lot going on. He
Shoot.
was making a movie, and then he got sick, and
If you want to see Phil's movie, you can go to tbkmagazine.com and search for Bax Noir and watch the second one. It's really good. Even though it's Christmas themed and it's March. So, who cares?
there's not a time limit on when you can watch Christmas movies.
There's never a time limit when you can watch Christmas movies. And the best example of that is you can watch A Christmas Story any time of the year and never get bored with it. I don't know why we're talking about this on this show, but
You started
who gives a shit? Tonight is the biggest throwaway pay-per-view WWE does every year. It is Fastlane.
Aw.
Okay, I'm going to start because I've got rants today. I'm going off. Today is the day where I hold nothing back. This pay-per-view should not fucking exist.
I mean, you're not wrong.
This pay-per-view should be taken out and beaten with a stick. This pay-per-view should be taken out behind the shed and shot Old Yeller style.
It's not the pay-per-view's fault.
It's the pay-per-view's fault. There should not be two pay-per-views in between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania.
It is not the pay-per-view's fault that it was created.
But seriously, there should not be a second pay-per-view in between WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble.
Well, if you don't have a second pay-per-view, then you can't have one every month.
Yeah, well, do we really need one in March when the WrestleMania is going to be the first weekend of April?
I mean, according to WWE.
Yeah, well.
And I mean, they're all knowing, right?
Hey, they've gotten better. Television's a lot better than it has been.
Television is better. We're going in a good direction. Let's see if we can keep it up.
Is that because of Bruce?
Maybe.
Bruce Pritchard signs on to WWE Creative as well as Dana Warrior.
Really?
I
had not heard that one.
Yeah, Dana Warrior also joined the WWE Creative team. I don't know what she's going to bring to the table, but it is nice to see people on the creative team that's not just Hollywood writers anymore.
That might actually make, an appropriate wrestling
show? Yeah, shit. I look, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I get the idea of doing Hollywood writers, but it just does not work in the wrestling formula. Like, sometimes it does. There's been some good things. But
maybe put a Hollywood writer on the group. A, as in one. As
but
in
not
everybody.
But not the main writer?
No.
I mean, I like some of the guys that have done Raw and SmackDown, and in fact, one of those guys went on is doing the NWA stuff right now.
Yeah, and I mean, there have been individually good shows. It's just hard to get a good set strung together when you don't have somebody that understands the business.
So I want to say, welcome back, Roman. We have not talked about that, but that's our first topic on this show because, goddamn, I am pissed the fuck off.
Oh, snap.
Okay, first of all, I'm glad Roman's back. I'm glad he's conquered.
Yeah.
I mean, in remission is what I think he said on Raw that night. So good,
Yes.
and congrats to Roman for being able to kick its ass because cancer is a fucking son of a bitch.
It is.
But so let's start 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, some douche fuck on Twitter who has a podcast that just wants people to listen to his podcast decided to make the statement that Roman Reigns' cancer scare might just be a work.
Yeah, no. No, we're not.
And then...
We're not believing this.
So that fucknut gets that trending. And then, on top of that, it gets added on. Like my thing's not playing. Okay. It gets added on that this dipshit decides to throw in his 2 cents. This is Dave Meltzer. By the way, just for everybody, I'm going to play a soundbite from his show.
Okay.
And it takes, sure, it's a 40-second soundbite of a 2-hour show probably, because they go on forever.
This is true.
But it still kind of sounds like this bitch ass is implying that he faked cancer. So here's the soundbite.
Okay.
Maybe.
It is serious, I mean, but it's not like, like I mentioned, there was a NHL player who had the same thing he had in the 2007 season who did not miss one game. He played every game while on this. And hockey is a pretty damn demanding sport. So everyone's different, and he actually said the pill was oral chemotherapy, but I don't think it was, because the pill that I was talking about, which is a new pill, and that's what he said. He didn't give the name of it, like I said, but, like this is they usually don't use, the treatment of this is usually not chemotherapy or radiation.
All right.
Okay.
And there's like a 3-minute clip, and I can go follow Ryan Satin on Twitter if you really want to hear the whole thing in context. Because then he goes on about talking. The main point is during the WWE Chronicle show, which features Roman's return. Mm-hmm. Meltzer goes on to say they never talked about him shooting Hobbs and Shaw.
Why does that matter?
Because he's sick, apparently, so he can't do anything. And, this is where I needed you on today's show. Was because I know you being part of the medical field could at least shed some light and us getting on this, because we've actually gone through this recently.
Yes. You being too sick to be in a wrestling ring and being too sick to walk in public are two very different levels of sick.
Like, even... Go ahead.
You go.
No, even if he was sick enough not to be in the ring for a few months, we know what it's like to see someone with this strain of leukemia, by the way, which is, yes. I think he said CML. Uh-huh. And to know how horrible life has been going through some of the treatment, but they're back within 2 months of being themselves.
Pretty much.
To a point.
We do have a family member that has the same type of leukemia. And he is significantly older and in significantly poorer health than Roman Reigns. Clearly. I mean, look. That is above and beyond average levels of health, no matter what age you are.
This is true.
So his first battle with this leukemia only lasted about 8 months total before he was back to more than 70%.
So let's go ahead
himself, and he's almost 70 years old.
So let's throw this out there. Meltzer also goes that this strain of leukemia does not usually warrant chemo or bone marrow transplant in this fucking soundbite that is not part of this. Dave Meltzer, you're fucking wrong. So sit down and shut the fuck up.
And even if you have the same strain of, the same type of cancer, every person is different, and what you need is going to be different. And that's completely between you and your medical team. It has nothing to do with the general public.
Okay, so that's something else. Let's just take into consideration now. Me and you are not in the best of shape.
No.
We could not go out and wrestle a 20-minute match.
No.
But you know who can? Roman Reigns. And even though you hate, most people hate the guy, or did hate the guy, I don't know now. I don't know if he's going to get booed or not for a while, but...
I feel like you're not allowed to right now.
I never boo. You know what? You got to give me credit for this. I was on the bandwagon of not booing him.
I was never booing him. I just don't care for him as a character. Maybe they're going to do better with him now.
They
went really terrible for a little while, and you cannot deny that.
Remind me to show you a heel promo he cuts in NXT in the early days. It's fantastic. He looks right at the announcer and goes, "So you were standing here waiting for me for what, 15 days? What's that say about you?" Damn, Roman can cut promos. Oh,
Okay.
shit. But yeah,
Maybe don't make him call himself the big dog, and we'll like him more. I mean, just
thanks, Michael Cole. Every time Michael Cole goes, the big dog, just part of me dies.
I mean, maybe this is a good chance to try again and
Part
make
of
him a
my
more
soul dies.
likable person.
But okay, so back to this. So Dave Meltzer goes on this whole kick of that they never talked about the movie filming in the WWE Chronicle episode, which I've not watched. But I knew that it was going to be talking about him coming back from this cancer battle, and I just, I don't need sad stuff in my life right now.
Why does it matter that they didn't talk about the movie filming?
Because the movie filming is part of the problem, and he thinks WWE, and I'm just going to say it, I do believe Dave Meltzer has skirted around the statement of going, this was fake. But this is his way of skirting around it. Like, he's not going to come out and say it because he doesn't want to lose his spot of getting tickets to WWE shows. But I'm going to say it for him. He's automatically thinking that this is fake. Like, he's, without saying the damn phrase, it's fake.
And I mean, he might have been on set to shoot a movie for a couple of days.
Oh, okay. So
It's a very small part in a very big movie.
like, it probably took, 4 months to film that movie, and he probably may have been on set 2 weeks.
And
At the most.
that is being overly generous. On
I don't
the
know
amount
how
of
big
time.
we don't know how big his role is in this movie. Like, we know he's not The Rock. He plays
But-
The Rock's brother, apparently, but
Even if you're in, say, 10 minutes of the 2-hour movie,
you're there for a week or two.
yeah, like, it's not a big deal. And if you do well shooting scenes, you don't have a lot of retakes, and you can get out of there.
And he had a personal trainer with him his entire time on this while being there.
I mean, let's be honest. He was in peak physical condition before he got sick.
I mean, he's lost muscle mass.
And
I'm going to tell you that now. Roman
Yeah.
Reigns lost muscle mass.
if you compare him to where he was right before he left to where he was when he showed up on
Well, actually,
television the other night.
well, if you even go back further, you can go back between last year's WrestleMania and notice that he is significant. Like, he lost muscle mass in between WrestleMania and when he announced he had cancer.
Which means that he was probably having trouble with it before he announced it, and that was the point that he was too bad to continue on, and he needed to take time off to rest.
That's probably
But-
something else that a lot of people have not thought about. Like, maybe he was taking treatment while still wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, I probably would have tried, because they just put the championship on you. If he just started taking that treatment within a month, he isn't going to want to give that up. He's a team player.
No, and he was going to try to stay as long as he could. But then again, if I know someone who is elderly and able to go back to work 2 months after a transplant, he can probably,
From just the pill.
yeah.
From whatever the pill is, because I know nothing of the pill.
There's several different ones. Some of them are oral chemo. Some of them's just like an immunosuppressant. Like, there's a bunch of different stuff that it could be. But we're not at liberty to ask him what it is because it's none of our business.
Because it's a HIPAA fucking violation. And
it
this is
doesn't matter.
like,
Why can you not just believe people when they say that they're sick and now they're better?
okay, so let's talk about that for a minute. So one, if this is truly where Dave Meltzer goes, like, this is faking it, and I'm putting that in quotes. Like, you can see this. WWE would just pull a very big taboo, and they now, instead of this being 15 to 20 years ago where they were just answering to themselves, they have to answer to investors.
And I don't feel like they are going to risk that.
I wouldn't.
This is ridiculous to assume that somebody is lying just because they're not your version of sick.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Hollywood. Hey, he's lost his hair. He's walking around in a walker. He looks just defeated by life.
That's what happens when you have later stages of cancer or you're not in good health. Like, I'm assuming with how closely they track wrestlers' health, they probably caught it really early
I would
when
have
this
thought that
came
too.
back
I
because
would
they
thought
have
so
to go
too.
through so much health screening and testing so frequently.
Well, this is kind of off subject, but I don't know if you noticed that saw the news that Alex Trebek announced that he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Yes.
You know he's been having treatment for that for a while.
He probably has. And pancreatic cancer is terrible. Like, that is super high mortality rate and ridiculous amounts of pain.
Does Alex Trebek in that video look like he's sick?
No, not at all. Because you don't have to look sick to be sick.
And that's a stigma. That is a fucking stigma. This is going off topic, but I don't care. That is a stigma with a lot of people that if you don't look sick, you're not sick. And that's a bullshit stigma.
It is. And you've got all kinds of things that you can't see, things that flare up. And some days you're fine and some days you're not.
And that's part of the issue here. That's a lot of my problem with Dave Meltzer's take, is that he just went off without saying it's actually just coming out and saying his true opinion. Because I don't think WWE would do something this fucking stupid in 2019. This is not 1986 or 87 Christmas Day and it's world-class championship wrestling and Fitz Von Erich fakes a fucking heart attack after 2 of his kids have died. This is not that fucking shitty.
No, and you can't do that now. There is too much that people can find out. And they do have people to answer to. It's not just themselves.
Well, the Ronda Rousey promo this week proves the era of kayfabe's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to take it into that, because, I mean, this is what we're looking at, is trying to say that he's faked it, one, to get cheers, which is just absolutely asinine. As I don't know if Roman cares. I think it's just like, I'm going to go out there and have the most fun I can, because Roman seems like he always enjoys himself in the ring.
Yeah.
You might not like the guy or like his character, but you have to respect the fact he goes out there every night without, who cares, like, even getting booed.
Yeah.
It seemed to bother him at the first time when he won the Rumble in 2015. It seemed to bother him, but I don't know if because now he's gotten to like, okay, this is kind of fun. Probably because John Cena.
Yeah, well.
I mean, Cena got booed for 10 years, and
Look where he is now.
And that dude never got cheered. But I swear to God, like Cena can go out and have a hell of a match every week, and he would still get booed because it's John Cena, because the girls liked him. It's the equivalent of when we were in high school. I know this is before your time, but this is the equivalent of when I was in high school, that since I was a boy, I could not enjoy boy bands.
It's not appropriate.
But secretly, deep down inside, you fucking enjoyed the boy band. And it's the same principle with Roman Reigns and John Cena. Like, if you're a guy, you're not supposed to like them because all the girls like them. But deep down inside, you kind of like them. I'm angry about this.
I've noticed.
I believe Dave Meltzer is nothing more than an opinion monger, and I'm doing that now, so I can't really say much. But that's what we do, because I don't report on news that comes from Dave Meltzer. I wanted to write wrestling news, but then I realized every wrestling website writes news that comes from Dave Meltzer. And I didn't want to do the same thing that everyone else does.
I mean, that's not a bad idea.
And like, a lot of people take his star rating for gospel, and I don't. Because I don't believe last year's best match was Okada Omega. Even though I think that was New Japan's best match, I don't think that was the best match of the year last year.
I'll give you that.
Because it was a year and a half too late.
Yeah, well.
I think it should have happened in 2017, but that's another argument. Or at Wrestle Kingdom in 2018. But they had to wait till June of 2018 to pull it. And Kenny Omega has a forgettable IWGP title reign.
Yeah.
Because they waited too fucking long.
Which is sad.
That match was great. It was fun. It was worth staying up for. But was it better than Gargano Ciampa from TakeOver New Orleans? Fuck no. Because that match had emotion.
And that does matter.
That match had emotion and story, where Dave Meltzer gave it 5 stars. He gave Okada Omega 7.25. I don't know what he gave him. Probably 112.
Probably.
But it's that
That's
same
his
thing.
Preferred stuff.
It's the same thing. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's the same thing. Like, if you enjoy something, you enjoy it, and you say that's the best match, then it's in your mind, that is the best fucking match.
Yeah.
There's no arguments there. I'm over it. I'm over this whole, he is the gospel of wrestling now.
All right. Are you better?
No, he called Peyton Royce fat earlier this year, and I'm still or last year, and I'm still pissed about that.
It was inappropriate. She's not. I like her.
Peyton Royce is awesome.
She is.
Like, I want to meet the Iconics. Okay.
That is your big thing right now, I think.
Women's wrestling has just like set into my heart recently. I don't know what it is, but I'm just like, I'm all about some women's wrestling right now.
That's not a bad thing.
All right.
Women's wrestling needs love.
Speaking of women's wrestling, this Ronda Rousey promo that got cut, I don't know. Like, a lot of, like, there's 2 sides to this. There's the, is it a work or is she shooting?
If it's a shoot, it's with permission.
So that means it's a work shoot.
Yep.
And you know who might be writing WWE TV if this is a work shoot?
You.
Vince goddamn Russo.
Well,
The only thing missing is we're going to get the Raw Women's title on a pole.
if that happens, then you know.
If there's a pole match involved with Ronda Rousey between now and WrestleMania, Vince Russo's been rehired to WWE.
But you know what I mean. Like they're not gonna let stuff like that happen without them being involved.
I almost think this is Bruce.
It might be.
I do. I think this is kind of Attitude Era S stuff coming from the three of them.
I mean, they want like
Fox-
the Fox wants an edgier program.
Yeah,
there
Fox,
you go.
Fox came out there's this new story that came out this week, which comes from a very uncredible source, by the way, that says that Fox wants more edgy television, and if that's and to ignore PC culture. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, who knows at this point?
It's wrestling news.
No,
I have to
no one knows what's going on until it happens. Let's be real here. I don't even know if the people involved know what's happening until it happens.
Xavier Woods tweeted that he didn't even know he was wrestling at the pay-per-view until he opened Twitter. So, I mean, but Ronda Rousey cuts this promo on how Becky Lynch and Charlotte can't even touch her and that she'll fuck him up and that wrestling's scripted. And that's kind of like the line that we're going to draw. But WCW did that for every fucking show in the night, like the late 90s, and no one said a word.
If it could happen then, and it was okay.
This is very much a Vince Russo-esque moment, and if it isn't, like if it is just them writing the story, I don't know how to feel.
Okay, why not?
Like there's part of me that goes, okay, so you should at least not make it. I just saw a Twitter video of Razorhawk riding a scooter.
This is why you're not supposed to be on Twitter during recording.
Well, I was doing the thing from Ryan Satin's thing and to play that video or play that take from Dave Meltzer. Now I just see Razorhawk riding a scooter. Shout out to Razorhawk. Kaka.
This is why you can't be on Twitter during recording.
That's funny as shit. I tell you. Like if he's not riding that scooter yelling "Kaka" constantly, that dude,
you know he is.
That dude's amazing. If you have not followed Chikara, that guy is just awesome. They're doing an 8-man tag at the Young Lions Cup this year of all the former Young Lions Cup champions. That looks like that's going to be a fun match. Yeah. All right, so back to this. So Ronda cuts this promo, and now there's part of me that's like, I don't know how I feel, because there is that point where it's like you want to not. We all know it's scripted. Like, we're not dumb, except for that fan that sat next to you at the house show. We're not dumb.
Oh my God.
We haven't told that story on the show yet, have we?
I don't think so.
We'll do that after this.
Oh my God.
We'll do that before we preview Fastlane.
Okay.
But like we're at that point where it's just like like, hey, it's not like, we know it's not, but there's still those few fans it's still real to me, damn it. And but there are times that you want to know, like, hey, look, I want to have that suspense of disbelief, like the suspense going thing right there, suspense
and
of
this
belief.
is just throwing that out the window.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, well, Ronda, thanks.
How am I going to explain that to my kids?
But then if she loses, I think this might be Ronda's way of going, I'm about to lose, and I'm going to save my own ass if it's not a work shoot.
Okay.
If this is Ronda shooting, this is her way of getting out of losing.
Okay.
Like, I lost a scripted match, not a real
Actual
one.
match.
Yeah.
Which then also gives you the door to come back in and have a real match.
I just don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. Like,
I'm gonna just wait to pass judgment until we see how this
right.
plays out.
Like tonight at Fastlane, we know the next part of this is happening, and I'm kind of excited for. Like, this is one of the highlights of the show. Like, one of the 3 parts that I'm super fucking pumped for Fastlane. Outside those 3 moments, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our house show.
This is a throwaway pay-per-view. Let's be real here. This is
a Clash of the Champions. If you want to go back in time, this is a Clash of the Champions prior WCW. I'm trying to think of a good one. Like, this is the November Clash of the Champions right before Starrcade. Sure, something will happen that you have to see, but if you miss the whole show, it doesn't fucking matter because they're going to show it on TV until there's no end.
Pretty much. Like this, I don't know. This is the kind of pay-per-view that doesn't need to have a 4-hour pre-show and a ridiculous build.
Well,
It just needs to happen.
The last show was only 2.5 hours. So I'm hoping...
Which is where this should end up.
There's only 7 matches. It's very possible this show's only 2.5 hours.
Which is what it needs to be. Like, that's how
There's
secondary pay-per-views should be.
There's 2 fucking pre-show matches, and the pre-show's only an hour long. But those 2 pre-show matches are fucking intense. It's Mysterio and Andrade, and the New Day versus Nakamura and Rusev. Those are 2 fucking good matches.
Those are really good matches.
Like, on paper, this show looks decent from the wrestling standpoint. But
I think it's going to be very predictable.
And I don't enjoy those.
And
I do, but I don't.
The wrestling will be fine. That's not ever the issue.
There's 2 matches that are not predictable. 2. Maybe 3, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk about our house show experience.
So we were gifted house show tickets
to a Raw house show
in Jonesboro. The Friday...
Wait, before you go any further, for anybody who does not know where Jonesboro is, it is where Randy Orton got his picture taken by a stupid fan. Go ahead.
Yeah.
While working out.
Yeah. Not good things.
No.
I did not realize this until basically it was too late. The house show was on the Friday of the week where my surgery was on the Monday.
Yeah, we did not realize that.
So I was not in a good place.
She was high as
went
balls.
to this house show.
Yeah.
I was on medicine and I was still in pain and I was not allowed to drive, and it was just a whole thing.
We had to have a middle school date to the show because a lot of people know that I have seizures and I can't drive at this point.
So we went to dinner with my mother. And then she dropped us off at the show. She pulled up to the door and let us out of the car and told us to call her when we were done.
My personal favorite moment of the night's when I looked at her and said, "I will be doing inappropriate things with your time."
And she just looked at you and didn't say anything.
But yeah, so we go to the house show. We get in right as the show started. Like
it was great. Like, that was perfect timing.
So we didn't have to wade through people. We went through an entrance that there was no one at while there was still a fucking line of cars trying to get in the damn building. Like, that place was pretty packed for a house show in our area.
Like, impressively full, and there was no big real name announced for that house show.
No, like the biggest name for that house show had to be Braun. Like, at that point, like, I mean, he may not have got the biggest pop of the night because I think that either went to Finn or Sasha and Bailey, but that
Dean.
Oh, Dean's pop was fucking massive because Jonesboro still loves himself some Dean Ambrose. Whatever.
Jonesboro's still about 2 years behind.
2? They were chanting for the Usos. When after they'd heel turn, they were still doing the Uso chant.
They were still doing the Lucha Dragons chant last time
Fuck,
we were
there was
there
an
too.
ECW chant at the Jonesboro house show.
I mean, you just gotta roll
There
with
was a
it.
kid that was right around our section that was like, that asked, "What's ECW?" And part of my soul went, "Oh."
He was like 8. He shouldn't know.
Like, oh, you poor child. So there's this fan that's sitting next to Ashley because Ashley does not really get into things very much. I don't know how to explain this. Like, she loves it, but you don't get into it.
No, I enjoy it, and I enjoy it quietly. Like, I am here to watch. I am not here to participate.
She is the perfect Japanese wrestling fan.
There you go.
I mean, let's just be honest. Like, that's
like I clap at some stuff. I get excited at some stuff, but I generally sit quietly in my chair.
I've seen her do 2 chants in my entire life, and one of those was at All In.
It was a big deal.
So I think you did one in Cape.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think you did one in Cape for Marco.
Probably.
Because you do love yourself some Marco
I
stunt.
do. He's very nice.
Who looks like he's coming back from surgery decently well. Like, he's starting to run now. He's posting videos on Twitter.
Good.
Get better, Marco.
So, yeah. We always get in seats when we try, and everybody knows you like in seats. So you're sitting on the aisle next to just me, and I'm sitting next to this gentleman.
I did offer you to switch.
You did. I should have.
Numerous times.
You did, and I should have. And apparently this gentleman took personal offense that I was not cheering and I was not getting out of my chair every time something happened, because he was literally up and down every 5 minutes all night. Anytime there was a big move, anytime that there was something impressive, anytime that there was a new person, anytime that there was a chant happening, he was out of his chair.
I chanted. I can't say that I did. I did chant the, I love the people behind us going, "Is that really Mojo Rawley?" That was funny.
I mean, it's a question you gotta ask.
Oh my god. I mean that opening tag team match.
It was great.
30 minutes for a tag team match at a house show. It was the Revival versus Gable and Rude.
Like, it was not a bad show. It was a very solid house show, and
Like,
it was very enjoyable.
It was
But
one of those house shows where you go, I'm not mad about going at all, because
Yeah.
it was fun, and those very rarely happen. At least in our area. We always get the shitty house shows.
We do generally, but I mean, the actual Raw episode is generally an hour away from us.
We usually
So.
do the TV instead.
We usually do, but we were gifted these tickets, and it was fine. It wasn't bad.
I just want to point out, too, this is the city for the first... Like, if you've seen this picture of the Boston Hug Connection and the Revival going around with the tag team championships with a fuck ton of photos in the background, it's at Jonesboro. Because they did shoot a lot of photos. Now they're traveling together. Apparently, the Boston Hug Connection and the Revival are travel partners now.
I mean, it's whatever.
And it's funny as crap because now they're taking like sneak photos of each other. So funny. I love Dash and Dawson. Like, I'm so happy that they're finally getting some recognition.
They deserve it. They really, really do.
The other part of the house show is Baron Corbin. There's two things that has happened to us with Baron Corbin in main events. First, our first NXT show, Baron Corbin's in the main event.
Yep. Baron
Against-
Corbin, Finn Balor.
For the NXT Championship.
Yes.
That was a hell of a show.
It was a really good show.
But there's a person in front of us that just kept yelling, "Boo, Baron Corbin, boo." And then in Jonesboro, which I hope it's the same kid, in Jonesboro, what was it? You're not even a chicken. You're a chicken nugget.
Yes.
To Baron Corbin.
That was my favorite thing. Like,
And
this kid was almost standing in his chair screaming,
"You're not a chicken. You're a chicken nugget."
"You're not even a chicken. You're a chicken nugget."
And I went, that might be the greatest thing I've ever heard at a wrestling
And
show.
like, this kid's 8 or 9, and he's been super into it all night and behaving much better than the
Individual sitting next
individual sitting next to me.
The people behind us were pretty cool too. Like,
They
they were
were.
funny.
They were funny. They were just as confused as we
like
were
they
at
have
that promo.
got like also just to add the other thing was, holy crap, Braun Strowman really is a monster. Shit. Like, that was the best. Like, they hadn't seen a live show in a long time, and here they are.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's our house show experience. It wasn't. I couldn't get to the place to get a T-shirt though, which made me a little sad because there's one I was going to get.
Well, you can order it online and it will be fine.
And it'll probably be cheaper.
Tonight, probably, actually.
Yeah, probably.
But like, that was don't touch other people without their permission.
Like, that didn't even happen at all.
Like,
And
this
I
guy
mean,
grabbed me and shook me.
there's nothing worse than coming home to shaking Ashley syndrome.
I just had surgery and it really hurt.
I asked you to trade seats
I
15
know.
times.
I know, but I felt like I needed to tough it out because you were in the seat that you liked. and
I
didn't
did
wanna
not.
make-
I didn't give a shit because I know you just had surgery, and I could have at least been like, "Hey, dude, calm the fuck down, calm your tits."
Like, I just kept scooting closer and closer to you and like was leaning on you to try to stay in your seat. Instead
Really
of mine.
quick, does anybody have any information on the Target replica championships? Because they have a big one.
They do. It looks very nice.
I want to know how nice they are. So if anybody could send me the info on that, that'd be great.
Randomly going to sneak that in there.
Well, no, Target has the others online.
Really?
And that's why I was wondering if they're the really low quality ones. Because if they are, fuck it. I'm looking for a replica championship. And I'll get my nice one when we finally go to our big event. So,
You're weird.
yeah, well. All right, so tonight's the biggest throwaway pay-per-view of the year. Really quick, I don't think there's any All Elite Wrestling news. I feel like I need to talk about it for a minute, but I don't think there is any.
I mean, it won't hurt to have an all WWE show for once.
That was our last show too. Just to let everyone know, if you haven't checked out this week's episode of Being the Elite, completely worth it. Outside that, there's not much really going on. Like, I think we're just kind of churning into their show, and we're getting there.
yeah, and it's an appropriate time for news to slow down while they try to.
It's WrestleMania season. Joey Janela's Spring Break 3 got a little bit more interesting. Yeah. Orange Cassidy versus Taka Michinoku. It is Taka Michinoku's first match in the U.S. since he left the WWE.
Wow.
That's a show we will not miss.
It is a show we will not miss.
Both nights.
I really, really enjoy his shows. Like,
I don't like. I'm so excited for the clusterfuck because I expect Let's talk about this real quick. There is other wrestling news. There was two really big wrestling deaths, one real, one not. King Kong Bundy passed away.
yes.
King Kong Bundy is also where they got the name for Al Bundy for Married with Children, so that's fun.
And see, I didn't know that until you told me that earlier this week.
I grew up, like, when I had my wrestling action figures, the biggest one you had in the LJN collection was fucking King Kong Bundy. Like, it was just massive.
Really?
It probably weighed like 2 to 4 pounds. Like, it
Lord.
was huge. So when they started releasing the Galoob figures, like the smaller ones, and then WCW was Galoob, and then the Hasbro figures, I would make the big King Kong Bundy LJN figure my giant. Because it would just be like, oh, you're just going to smack around a bunch of wrestlers.
All right.
But my God, King Kong Bundy main evented a WrestleMania, and that's pretty much... I had a good run in the company. I don't know if he ever held a championship in WWE, actually. If he did, it was during his second run.
It's an interesting... Oh, are you looking at
Yeah, I got it. Which is a little sad, because the guy had a great run in the company, but again, came at that one time. He did not hold a championship. He did hold the NWA American Heavyweight Championship, the AWA Superstars of Wrestling Heavyweight Championship.
All right.
I don't... The NWA Southern Tag Team Championships.
He has 2 Slammy Awards.
Because everyone has a Slammy Award.
But he has 2.
What the hell did he win? Like, Best Heel?
Bobby the Brain Heenan Scholarship Award.
That had to be from the 80s. That
87.
had to be from the fucking 80s.
And Most Evolutionary in 1994, tied with Gorilla Monsoon.
That's fucking great. Those Slammy Awards are online, or on the network now. The ones from the 90s and the 80s ones.
Oh, Lord.
And I've never watched the 80s ones. But damn, Ted DiBiase won Humanitarian of the Year in 87. God, I miss kayfabe sometimes. The executive producer on these shows, by the way, is kayfabe.
Nice.
Fucking cracks my shit up.
This is great.
Manager of the Year in the 1987 Slammies, just because I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah.
The nominees were Bobby Heenan, Mr. Fuji, Jimmy Hart, Slick, and none of the above.
None of the above.
None of the above won. King Kong Bundy is going to be... Like, he was one of those characters that, like, I enjoyed watching. Mm-hmm. But I only remember him for WrestleMania 2, the main event of WrestleMania 2, which is one of the worst WrestleManias ever. Probably the second or third worst WrestleMania of all time.
Oh.
But that's not because of him. That's because that's the one they did in 3 towns.
Yeah, that was just a terrible idea.
But
that idea never should have made it. Like, let's be real here.
and then in GCW, The Invisible Man. And they did this tribute for The Invisible Man.
It was a very good tribute.
That's some funny shit. I can't wait to see what because I figure the killer will be announced. It's during the clusterfuck at Spring Break 3.
Probably.
And I feel like the Invisible Man's brother will avenge his death. Like, that's where I hope this goes.
That would be great.
I do have my pick for the clusterfuck if it's not the Invisible Man.
Okay.
So I think it's going to be MJF.
I'll give you that.
That guy's the salt of the earth, to quote Cody. All right, that's our other wrestling news. Oh, let's do Fastlane. I'm not excited and I'm excited at the same time. I don't know how this works, but hey.
Meh.
I figure we're going to get a Lacey Evans walk down the ramp and turn around moment.
Probably in a very nice outfit.
She always looks great. That's who they want to replace Ronda Rousey with, by the way. Like, that's the next big women's star they want.
Which, I'm not trying to be mean when I say this, but I don't understand.
I don't either. Oh, WrestleMania 36 got announced for Tampa. Tampa has a giant pirate ship in their stadium. If Kairi Sane does not come out on that pirate ship, I'm fully disappointed. All right, now that we've got that out of my system.
Yeah, I don't... I'm not meaning that she doesn't deserve to do great things.
We're back to Lacey Evans, not
Yes.
not
Not
Kairi
Kairi
Sane.
Sane. Kairi Sane deserves the world, but
Kairi Sane might be in the women's tag match at WrestleMania if the preliminary cards that are floating around there is true.
I don't have anything against Lacey Evans, but I don't feel like she's proven herself enough to try to be the next big star.
I don't know. Like she's had a couple of matches in NXT, but that's all I can remember. Like I don't remember anything from Lacey Evans.
Because she really hasn't done much yet.
But neither did they brought up, was it Carmella?
Probably.
Carmella hadn't done a lot of stuff either, and they brought Carmella up, and I thought Carmella's killed it.
She has.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just sometimes you bring someone up who hasn't done much. Because, I mean, for Carmella, it was during that time frame with Asuka. Mm-hmm. For Lacey Evans, it was during the time frame with Ember Moon and
Shayna Baszler.
And I just... Oh, Tommaso Ciampa. Before we get to Fastlane, Tommaso Ciampa's out. Had to have neck surgery. Might be out for 6 months to a year. And now, what do they do for NXT TakeOver New York?
Velveteen Dream.
I think there's 4. I think there's a legit 4 guys that that Triple H is going to go. It's one of these 4. Pete Dunne, 5. Pete Dunne. Pete Dunne's in the UK title. Will defend the UK title against Walter. There's a possibility he could drop that title at the beginning of the show and win the NXT championship at the end of the show.
There is.
So, and they've done that before.
They have.
They did it with Edge at Elimination Chamber. So that's one. Of course, Adam Cole, baby.
Yeah.
Adam Cole has to be. I completely forgot about this news, and I'm kind of glad I remembered it. Adam Cole has to be in that talk.
He is.
Of course, your guy, the Velveteen Dream.
Please.
That's it. You're just like, I'm out.
Yep.
Gargano.
Which is also not a bad idea.
Because, they moved him up, but at this point, they might have to move him back down because they're going to need someone.
I think they have enough there without doing that.
And I think the person that they might actually put the championship on, bro, Matt Riddle.
I'm aware.
I'm 100% on the Matt Riddle bandwagon right now.
I know you are.
100%. Like, oh my God. They're going to do, by the way, for anybody who does not know, and this is an NXT spoiler, and I don't give a shit. They're going to do Keith Lee and Dominic I can't pronounce his last name. Dijak. That's his independent name. The match they did it 3 times in PWG. Each match was rated like one of the best ever.
Wow.
They're doing that at the next TakeOver.
Good.
So we know they're going to do that, and we know we're getting Walter and Pete Dunne at the next TakeOver. And I'm going, oh, fuck.
This has the makings of being one of the best takeovers.
If not the best TakeOver. And that's going to be hard to do because last year's New Orleans was really good. But yeah, so the NXT title's up right now, and we know that there's going to be the Dusty Rhodes finals.
No idea who's going into that. So.
I mean, the tournament's in the semifinals, but they've not taped the finals yet, or they made it to the TakeOver. So hopefully we find that out. But oh man, Ciampa being down is just shitty.
It is. I feel bad for him.
Like he just came back, and I mean he's having the run of his career. This might be the best run maybe anybody's had in the WWE in the last year, with the exception of Gargano and Rollins.
Yeah.
But okay, so back to Fastlane. Now we're out of news.
Okay, now let's run through this card.
On the pre-show, it is the New Day, who found out through Twitter. It is Big E and Xavier Woods. Let that sink in. Versus Nakamura and Rusev. Who do you have?
I have the New Day.
I have the New Day as well. I think this is setting up for something later in the night, though.
I'm hoping that we can get a set of championships on them.
There's a rumor right now that I think Kofi's getting the WWE title match at Mania.
I hope he does.
I don't know who it's going to be against, but I think he's getting the WWE title match at WrestleMania.
He deserves it.
I think the New Day might win the tag titles at WrestleMania.
That's what I'm hoping for. Is to just get championships on all 3 of them.
This makes me so sad because you could have done a really cool, like 2 cool moments at WrestleMania, because they're not going to do Charlotte. They're not going to pull Charlotte from the Becky Ronda storyline.
No.
But it should have been Charlotte Asuka, and I still think the end of WrestleMania should have been all 4 horsewomen holding up championships.
That would be amazing.
Like you have the New Day all winning championships.
I mean, they still could.
they're not going to pull. Like, I don't know who Asuka's going to take on at Mania, but she may not even be champion going into Mania.
We'll see.
Also on the pre-show, Rey Mysterio versus Andrade. What? What?
I think the bigger question is, why is this a pre-show match?
That's what? Like,
maybe it's going to be a really short one and they'll have a better one later. I don't know.
they need to have a WrestleMania match. I
They
think
need
these
to.
two they've had such good chemistry, and I think this is leading to something bigger. But Joe just won the U.S. title, which is probably setting up Joe Cena at WrestleMania, which, my God, I've been wanting that to happen for years.
You have.
They've been teasing that match for the last 4 WrestleManias, and now they're finally going to fucking do it. Like, thank you.
Hopefully.
It could be Daniel Bryan and John Cena. I've seen that rumor, too.
I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
So who do you have? Oh, I have the New Day as well. Rey Mysterio or Andrade? Who do you have?
Andrade.
I think this is the one time Mysterio gets his win because Andrade's won every match before.
Still picking Andrade.
In a match that's going to steal the fucking show.
Yep.
The Revival versus Gable and Rude versus Aleister Black and Ricochet for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I'm going to call it now 20 minutes or more.
Easily.
They're going to steal the damn show.
Easily.
They're going to steal it. And by the way, I'm choosing Aleister Black and Ricochet.
I am too.
I think
I hope
WWE's...
so. Like, that's what I want in my life. Like, they need this.
So I'm going to tell you an idea I think WWE might do.
Okay.
And I don't know if they will, but I want it to happen. I think WWE is seeing what the women's tag team titles are doing, and they're being able, they're being able to be defended on any show. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to do that with the tag team title. Like, I think they're going to just combine all the men's tag titles.
I don't think that's a bad idea.
And then you
I
have
think
just...
it's time for the brand split to dissolve.
I don't have a problem with that because then you got
I
separate.
do.
Well, no, you got separating house show tours. Like, that's fine. Like, you could have this is going to be on. Like, I think this champion, of this championship should only be defended on SmackDown. You could have wrestlers float by doing that, but the championships, like the WWE championship, WWE champion's always going to be on SmackDown.
I'm fine with that. I just don't want people to have to be restricted to a single show.
I think the
They need to do
champion.
some restructuring.
I think the champion should be relegated to a single show. With the exception of the tag champions, because there's just not enough tag teams in the fucking company not to do that. Gallows and Anderson also may not be re-signing.
I know.
That's sad, but they're either going back to Japan or they're AEW bound,
They're AEW bound.
which is perfectly fine with me. Who do you have? I'm picking Aleister Black and Ricochet.
I'm picking the same. I told you that.
And it's gonna be a good match. Like,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
just excited for that one. The reuniting of the Shield versus Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley.
The Shield.
They're not gonna have I will say this. There is part of me that thinks we're gonna get our WrestleMania Roman match out of this.
Okay.
And I've seen 3 different people.
Okay.
They're all 3 in this match. I think it's gonna be Dean. I think Dean's gonna
Probably.
turn on Roman.
Which is sad.
But there's a possibility Dean may stay. I've now read that. Because Roman's back and then Dean likes Bruce.
Maybe they've offered him something good.
Who knows? Like I said, this is a throwaway show. Come on, people. The women's tag team titles, the Boston Hug Connection versus Nia Jax and Tamina.
Boston Hug Connection.
I will give some props for Nia Jax for calling out Dave Meltzer on his bullshit as well.
I will give that, but I still don't think that they're going to get the title.
No, Boston Hug Connection going to WrestleMania as the women's tag team champions to defend against... They're supposed to be defending against one Raw tag team, one SmackDown tag team, and one NXT tag team.
Ooh.
That's what I've read. And I'm going, okay, so we know the Raw tag team is going to be the Riot Squad.
Clearly.
We know the NXT tag team is probably going to be the Sky Pirates, which is Kairi Sane and Io Shirai.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the SmackDown team is going to be the Iconics. And I'm 100% behind this match.
That'll be good.
I am now 100% behind it. Next up, the Usos defend the SmackDown Tag Team Championships against The Miz and Shane McMahon. I'm picking the Usos. I think this is setting up Miz and Shane for Mania.
I'll give you that.
That's where I think they're going. I'm still surprised the Usos got the tag titles last month. So, I mean, shit at that. Because that was the same week that he got arrested for the DUI. And I'm like, oh my God, they're not going to win the tag championships. And then, hey, guess what? They won the tag championships. What the hell?
Which is really confusing to me. I
guess-
don't know.
Well, it's like the Revival getting the tag champs. I didn't see that coming either. I'm not complaining.
Well, he didn't get a DUI that week.
It was cool getting to see the tag team titles defended in the first defense for those two.
It was cool getting to see the women's tag titles. In
Yeah,
general.
those things are awesome. Those things are beautiful.
They are very, very pretty.
All right, 2 matches, and I feel like these are the 2 matches that kind of are this whole show is built around.
Yep.
Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens, which originally was supposed to be Daniel Bryan and Kofi Kingston. They removed Kofi. Vince McMahon's like, I'm going to replace you with someone I feel is a better replacement. And now it's Kevin Owens.
Which, yay, Kevin Owens is back.
I don't know how I feel about this because now we have there's so many splits off from this that could go, oh God, what did they do? I could see Sami Zayn coming back through tonight. I could see Kofi Kingston fucking up this match. I could see it being a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania. I could see it being a 1-on-1 at WrestleMania. I could see it being Kevin Owens and Kofi at WrestleMania. I could see Daniel Bryan and Kofi at WrestleMania. Holy shit.
I don't foresee this having a clean ending.
If it does, I've got a really fun story.
What you got?
So if it does, I think Kevin Owens wins the title.
Yeah.
And I think Kevin Owens goes into WrestleMania as the champion, and I think he defends it in a fatal 4-way.
Okay.
I think Kevin, it's going to, Kevin replacing Kofi and then winning it could really be a great story. I think
that is the best story to come.
It kind of screws Daniel Bryan, but I think Daniel Bryan, John Cena might happen at WrestleMania. So if that's the WrestleMania match, they're going to pull Daniel's losing the championship.
Yeah.
Luke Harper just returned at a house show, by the way, so I can see Luke Harper joining this group. There's a lot to say about this match. There is so much that could fucking happen in this match alone. But I could see Kevin Owens celebrating, and then Sammy coming out to celebrate with him, and then dropping Kevin like Kevin drops Sammy at TakeOver.
Ooh.
Leading to a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania with Daniel, Kevin, Sammy, and Kofi.
Which makes it significantly easier to get Kofi and the champion.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, so a multi-man match gives Kofi a better chance at winning it. You could give him a pin against whatever, and then you've got the next 4 months of story.
Yep.
Now there is Daniel Bryan could win 1-on-1 because of Kofi.
Yes.
Or just because of Eric. I can't think of his name now. I almost said Eric Young. I'm like, nope, that's not right. Fuck. Eric Rowan. But there's so much you can do with this match, and I'm actually looking forward to this because I think Daniel Bryan and Kevin Owens are 2 of my favorite guys in the company. So,
and I mean, they're going to exchange words.
I don't know who the face is in this match because it's supposed to be Kevin Owens, but I still, in my heart of heart, go, is it? Is it?
I mean, in this context, I think technically, but no.
You know who the face is for this match? Everyone watching. I'm just excited for this one to happen.
Kofi interrupting?
Yeah, and that could happen. Kofi's going to be there. I mean, we know the New Day's there. So, and then the other one is Charlotte versus Becky. If Becky wins, she'll be added to the Raw Women's Championship match at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Again, oh, by the way, who you got? Daniel Bryan or Kevin?
Kevin.
Again, I don't know. I'm going to say Daniel just because I don't really know, but I really don't. It's one of those where I'm like, yeah, either way, I'm happy. And then Charlotte and Becky, which I could see this going one of 2 different ways. Of course, Becky wins.
Yeah.
I could see Ronda coming out and just attacking Becky.
Completely possible.
Disqualifying Charlotte and giving Becky a win. Becky's in the match. I could see Ronda fucking this match up and making it a no contest. Then tomorrow night on Raw, I'm putting Becky in the match anyway because you screwed her over. And then it's a triple. There's, again, so many different paths to take. You know how long it's been since we've actually said there's so many paths to take? Oh, there is one other match. It's not the main event, but there is one more. I forgot it.
Okay.
But there's so many paths to take in these 2 matches that I'm okay with any of the outcomes.
I'll give you that.
And that's really weird to say. Because that doesn't happen. And the Revival match has a lot of different outcomes in it. Because Aleister Black and Ricochet are not taking that pin.
No, they are not.
And there is also talk that Bobby Roode might go on a singles run and become heel again. So,
Which I would enjoy significantly more than
I
what
would
we are
really love if
getting.
I would really love if WWE would bring in James Storm and tag him with Bobby Roode. If you're gonna put him with the tag team partner, put him with the other half of Beer Money.
Like, put him with his tag team partner.
Oh my god, that tag team was fucking fun. Like James Storm would come out on a cooler that was motorized.
What the hell?
Beer Money was you want to talk about one of the highlights of TNA during a time frame where TNA was kind of at it's them. But, all right. And the other match is the SmackDown Women's title, which I forgot. Asuka defends against Mandy Rose.
What?
I was waiting for that. Yep, you heard that. Mandy fucking Rose.
I mean, good for Mandy Rose.
I'm going to go out on a fucking limb.
You're picking her, aren't you?
Mandy Rose is going to win the SmackDown Women's Championship.
I'm not going to go that far on a limb.
I got my reasoning
Okay.
because I think this is setting up okay, so Asuka wins. I feel so Asuka's going to win this match. I would like to see I want Mandy to win because I want to see Mandy and Sonya. I don't that storyline to me never got concluded, even though they're doing the tag team thing.
Okay.
But there is that part of me that's like, Sonya Deville could get the SmackDown Women's title match at WrestleMania.
She could.
Make that happen. Because we've seen a match between Asuka and Sonya.
It was really good.
It was fucking intense. That was at a house show.
It was. Indeed.
Sonya and Asuka at WrestleMania could theoretically, given 12 minutes, steal the fucking show. And no one's going to believe me when I say that.
It was good.
I love Sonya. I think Sonya is one of the best talents they have that is not being utilized properly.
She's not being utilized terribly, though.
No, she's being utilized fine, but I just want her in
Could be better.
a bigger role because the SmackDown women's scene is kind of shitty right now because you're losing Charlotte to Raw. You're losing Becky to Raw,
Yeah.
which is setting up 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen.
I mean, easily.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. There will not be a post show with Fastlane. Just gonna let everyone know. However, we will do one for WrestleMania.
It'll be more appropriate for WrestleMania.
We might do one for NXT TakeOver that weekend
Okay.
because it's going to be TakeOver and then Joey Janela spring. We have an hour and a half to kill between Spring Break and TakeOver, so it might be spring. It might be after TakeOver and Mania. It's going to be a crazy week, but Fastlane's coming up, guys. We hope you enjoy it. I don't think it's going to be a bad show. I don't think it's going to be a show we care about in a month.
No, it'll be fine for what it is. Like, it'll be okay to watch, but it's not going to be groundbreaking, I don't think.
Unless something crazy happens, and damn it, with the company the way it's going right now.
I'd love to see some crazy, but I'm not going to get my hopes up yet.
I would love for them to do something that no one expects. I would love that, but I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
They don't like to shake up too much before Mania.
I don't know. The way this year is going so far, I have no clue. I have no fucking clue at this point. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this edition of SNS. Sorry for the rant at the beginning. I'm still kind of pissy.
You're not sorry.
Dave Meltzer can go fuck himself.
You're not sorry.
I'm not. Like, I know I'm never going to be on Dave Meltzer's good list. I'll probably get blocked by him on Twitter.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, there's something I'll be sad about tomorrow. Oh, shit. If you want to block me on Twitter, like if someone tweets this at him and you want to go ahead and just do it, tell him just tag at TBK Mag. Let's just make this happen. Let's just all around. Next week, guys, we're going to do something fun in the next coming weeks because it's going to be kind of a dead time going into Mania.
This is true.
We're going to combine WWE in this show.
Okay.
And we're going to do something kind of fun.
Which
I haven't
is-
even told you. I
no.
just thought about this while we were right before we started recording.
What if I don't want to do this?
I think you're going to want to do this.
I don't know that I want to do this.
We are going to compare the Monday Night War episodes. So,
Okay.
we are going to watch the first Nitro, and then we are going to watch them leading up. Like, we're going to do a Raw Nitro every week. Because, one, I think it would be kind of fun to rewatch some of these Monday Night War episodes when it first started. There's going to be a time frame where we both just kind of cringe.
Ugh.
But that first Nitro, we're going to watch that and do that one next week.
Okay.
Because, yeah. And then the following week, we're actually going to watch a Raw and Nitro, the ones that aired the same night.
Are we going to watch them at the same time on dual screens?
Yes. We're going to do this just like 1995 all over again.
Are we going to put one screen in the living room, one screen in the bedroom, so we have to run back and forth?
We can do it on a projector.
I know we can, but you said just like it was.
Oh, yeah, no.
one in one room, one in the other room, and have to run back and forth.
Technically, we would watch Raw and then watch the Nitro replay at like 2 a.m.
Well, that's what you would do.
That's what I didn't do that because we didn't get TNT until 98.
Well.
Or 97. You have about a shitty situation. Living in a small town, it's just like, nope, you don't know. You're not going to see Nitro until like it's almost out of its good days. So all those Nitros, I've never seen.
Wow.
So it's actually stuff I've not, and I don't remember all the Raws. Like I can tell you now, I don't remember those fucking
You
things.
shouldn't remember all of the Raws. That'd be weird if you did.
I remember some, like I remember the good stuff. I remember some of the bad stuff, but...
You remember big, memorable things. You shouldn't remember every friggin' week.
And by the way, Nitro's only 2 hours and Raw's only an hour at that time.
Yeah.
So it's 3 hours between the two.
Perfect.
So we're going to do that on the next episode of SNS. I think you might have some fun with that.
Okay.
So, guys, to wrap up this edition, Ashley, do you want to add anything?
I'm good. I'm good.
I was hoping you'd just say, fuck Dave Meltzer.
No, that's you, not me.
All right. Until next time, guys, enjoy Fastlane. The road to WrestleMania is probably going to get derailed. But until next time, remember, if you're going to turn heel on your friends, make sure they're as gullible as Sting. Good night, everybody.